Hey there, guys. How you doing? Welcome to another Star Night research today, and unfortunately, this is going to be a sad one as we are taking a look back on Val Kilmer's work. Joining me later today soon will be fellow YouTuber BlueKnightBeyond, which I believe he is just about ready. So, just one second. Oh, can't see. Hello, one second. Let me just add you on here. There we go. Welcome, Blue Knight. Glad you can make it today.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Well, a little bit, I guess. I don't know. We are talking about a sad topic today. A little
Yes,
sad.
yes, it is because it's just heartbreaking to see another great actor from, especially from our generation, has died today, especially due to after his battle with cancer, no less.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's crazy because I think a week prior, the Alfred voice actor from BDS, BTAS, like passed away too. So it's just like more bad news is just like piling on.
Yeah, and especially the fact that this year marks 30 years since Batman Forever came out.
Oh yeah, it's Batman in like 30 years.
Yeah, it's just so funny how like this is the movie where the new Superman comes out, yet there's so much anniversary with Batman related stuff between Forever, 20 years of Batman Begins, and of course, 25 years since Batman Beyond Return of the Joker came out.
Oh my gosh, I gotta watch that movie again.
Yeah. Though
And then
I'll have to say that sadly, as far as for Val Kilmer, I've not seen too much of his work. Of course, I remember I would say seeing Batman Forever was one of my first experiences as a kid with him, as well as Top Gun.
yeah. I've only seen two pieces of work. Batman Forever, and then like he did like a voice acting gig in a Spider-Man game.
Yeah, that's right. I think he was just like a mad scientist that was trying to
Well, I think
go.
his name was Walker Stone. I really liked his performance there. It was like Edge of Time.
Yeah, because that was a pretty good game, especially bringing in the two Spider-Man actors, Josh Keaton and Christopher Barnes.
Yeah, yeah. I love that game. I actually have the game, but it's like only the Wii version. I don't I don't have it on my anything else. It's just the Wii version, so it's like really low res.
No, I gotcha. I imagine imagine it's probably a bit difficult just to like do all those crazy move sets with just the Wii controller.
It's really hard to play. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say on the Wii.
Gotcha.
But no, I really liked his performance, like Walker Stone in there. It was a nice surprise. I was like, I like to imagine because he changes the future. I'm like, this is what happens when Batman Forever succeeded and made $1 billion because it's like like dark future, and it's just like, oh, it's like this evil place. uh, at least that's how I like to imagine it. That's my head canon.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised when I saw him because I feel like for a good portion of of like the first decade of the 2000s, he didn't seem to pop up on a lot. Granted, I say during that time that's when he was dealing with the initial cancer stuff.
Yeah, because I haven't really looked much into his cancer thing because I'm just like, when did it start? No, because I was
Yeah,
aware that he had cancer, but I didn't know like when it initially started.
yeah. I want to say it was around early mid 2000 or so, just because like it just feels like around that time he just didn't pop up, at least not in big theatrical theaters. Because looking at his filmography, he was doing mostly direct-to-video stuff during during that time. I didn't see like his name. I didn't see anything coming out during Warner Bros. Let's see.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just actually taking a look and see like. Okay, so I guess around 24. So I guess 2014. Yeah, 2014 is when it started. Okay, so I was mistaken. So that started later on.
Oh wow, 2014.
Yeah, so that was just. So I guess that was just after the Spider-Man video game because I know for that game that was like I think definitely before that year.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know about that long. So what? Like what? 11 years?
Yeah, wow, yeah, that's 11 years ago to this day.
That is wow. I didn't even know about that. I think I knew about it like maybe a year ago. I was like, he has cancer. That freaking sucks. Because I heard about it because like there was a lot of movement of like release the Jewel Schumacher cut for Batman Forever.
Yeah, yeah, because I always remember seeing like that deleted scene where you have Doctor Burton checking in on Two Face and seeing him escape from Arkham. I was like, that'd be a great opening for the movie.
Yeah, and then the giant bat scene was just like, I guess like that's the same bat he saw as a child, but now it's like super big or something.
Yeah, because I guess after he got shot by Two Face, which I'm amazed that he survived that. He had like retrograde amnesia or something.
Yeah,
Which I'll just say that for Batman Forever. I would say that is probably the closest we could ever get to a live action version of the '90s animated series.
yeah, or like the closest like fantastical element of Batman at least, or like embracing the silly comic bookness of that movie.
Yeah, just because like when I look at with Batman and Robin, it just feels like watching them from that time of the series because we see a Robin that's pretty much all grown up as a college student.
Yeah, and then the that Gotham for Batman and Robin, like I just watched it kind of recently. I was watching it for like a video. I was gonna do all that stuff. I saw like the scene of Gotham. I was just like, whoa, that looks like animated series because like you have these over exaggerating tall buildings, bridges that cars are going across, and all that stuff. I was like, nah, wow,
Yes, and all those like tall statues and everything.
yeah,
Plus, I would say even for Bruce Wayne, I feel like his character in Batman Forever, which I say Val Kilmer did wonderful, was it does remind me a little bit of Phantasm, mostly for the fact that he was willing to give up being Batman for a new love interest, and the fact that for Chase Meridian, she's an original character.
oh yeah, yeah. I definitely see that. I think this was like maybe Batman Forever was like the first Batman movie where it tried to do something with Bruce Wayne's character because like he never really had any character development in any Batman movies. I would say.
Yeah, because I say at that time, the only one before that would have been Mask of the Phantasm. Because I would say, although I would say for Batman Returns with Michael Keaton, there was some development of how he was really infatuated with Selina, and he was
I keep yeah I keep forgetting Mass of the Phantasm was released theatrically. I keep forgetting about that.
yeah. I mean, I didn't know that at the time. Granted, when that came out, I was only like 2 years old, I think, or not even 2 years old.
Yeah, so I always forget Fat Mask of the Phantasm was theatrical release, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because I guess it's always interesting when if Batman always meets a love interest that actually pushes him to think about quitting.
yes,
Though I have to say, for Chase Meridian, it she kind of reminds me of Harley. Only the fact that she's, I guess, a blonde and that she is a psychiatrist, because you don't see too many other psychi- lady psychiatrists in Batman's world, at least that aren't good, that aren't bad guys,
or
essentially.
psychotic. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know. Chase is okay, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really feel anything. She's just there.
yeah, I would say for love interest, not that impactful. I guess it's just a very faint comparison to Andrea, just because of the fact that they're both original characters for their respective movies.
Mhm. I yeah, it's just Batman Forever is like a weird film because it's like it's a continuation of Tim Burton's like continuity. Wow, and then it's just like it does this thing and then it does that.
Yeah, although it's a very slight continuity, just because that the only actors that are returning is just Alfred and Gordon, and their roles in that movie are very small.
Yeah, like Jim Gordon is like a very small in a row. I kind of love the scene where it's just like he's in his pajamas and he's on top of the bed. So it's like, hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, because I find that scene with the bat signal with him and Chase like funny, though it's a little bit too extreme, just of how very attractive Chase is to Batman, like with dressing in like lingerie, trying to get his attention, just like
It's a kids movie.
yeah, and yet like this is what you want instead of just the how dark it was for Batman Returns.
I feel, if this was released today, I swear Twitter would just like blow up. It's like oh, oh my gosh. But no, I love imagining that scene because Jim Gordon had to walk into the building, go up the elevator. People had to see him in his pajamas.
Yeah, no, it's like yeah, that's one thing I appreciate with how Joe Schumacher did. It was like mixing a little bit like the Byrne element, especially since luckily Tim Burton was a producer for this film, but also mixing a little bit the Adam West show vibe as well.
So much Adam West like energy just throughout the movie.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
was. Oh,
it's a
sorry, you go.
fun yeah, sorry. It's just a fun experience to watch because like every time I watch that movie, I feel like I'm on like a drug like dream sequence or something because like the film is just filled with so much visual style and all that stuff and I'm like oh this is my eyes are just explode.
Yeah, that's one thing I appreciate for the Bam movies of the '90s is how like with the city background and everything, it's so visual where it's that's just Gotham for you. It doesn't have to resemble exactly New York or Chicago or anything. It's its own city.
Yeah, that's one great thing about that movie. It's just like it has so much style, so much flair, and all that stuff. But it has its own identity. It's not like the other city.
Yeah. Though I will say that for this movie, Bam Forever, it may be a sequel, though at times I feel like it could just be its own standalone movie because I just feel like because of with mostly entirely different actors and everything, and like you could just say like, oh, this is just any random Batman story. You don't have to think about the previous two that Tim Burton directed.
Hmm. I did hear that this film was like I guess Joel Schumacher originally wanted to do like the adaptation of Year One, which is very interesting.
Yeah, because that was going around for a bit. Like they wanted to make it almost exactly the same as it was in the original for the original graphic novel.
Which I'm just like, wow, that's really interesting because it's like it's totally different from what the final product is and all that stuff.
Yeah, it is in most cases, but that would have been interesting to see happen during the '90s. But oh well, because I will say that for Val Kilmer, I would say he for live action Batman actors of the '90s, he was pretty good. I did like his portrayal of Bruce Wayne Batman. It's just right there behind Keaton.
No, no, Val Kilmer, I think he did a great job because how he was portraying Bruce Wayne, he just like did like this so emotionless character. Like he has no personality. He feels like a robot, like no emotion at all. Which
Yeah,
yeah, because like I think the how they wanted to do it was like, okay, Bruce Wayne goes on an arc. Like, does he want to be Batman because he feels guilty because he supposedly let his parents die? That's how he kind of imagining all that stuff. And then
yeah.
I'm just trying to recall like what was the original script because there's like I guess there's two different films. There's the film we got, and then the Joel Schumacher cut where it delves more deeper into like Bruce Wayne's like internal battles and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I guess for yeah, because I mean, I guess for the story is while he does bow with that, I guess with adding Robin to the mix, I guess he's questioning if this is worth it because he sees himself in Robin where he wants to avenge his parents' murder, but he doesn't want him to make the same choices he's done, like with letting Joker fall to his death and how he's killed some people and also as well in Batman Returns. So
Yeah, that scene where he just tells Robin's like, "You go out there and find like you go out there and just like kill another, and then like you finally realize that revenge has become your whole life, basically." Because remember, he did kill Joker in the first Batman movie, and he got his revenge. So now, like, this movie's kind of delving into like, what do you do after revenge? Do you just keep going, or what?
yeah, because I would say between that and Returns, I would say Batman's pretty much like staying in seclusion until like Penguin's goons came around.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I would say for with the bad guys, not bad. I mean, for Jim Carrey, it's always entertaining with him as Riddler. It's and clearly more comedic, but with a definitely more of a psycho twist.
I love Jim Carrey as Riddler so much. It's just so fun to watch his personality change in like in a second.
Though I will say that for with his plan and everything, it just felt very different from what I seen with Riddler. Because I felt like with what he was doing with mind control device and stuff, I felt like that's something more what Mad Hatter would do.
Oh yeah, like sucking all the brain power or something and he becomes smarter.
Yeah, because usually with Riddler, he always has this thing where he knows he's the smartest. Like that's what he believes. So that's why he always creates his death traps and everything. But it's a nice change of pace where he's actually trying to build up his intelligence so that way he will become the smartest person in Gotham.
Yeah, the original comic book Riddler, like because I read the original comic book Riddler, he's just like this cheater and stuff. Like he just cheats. He's not actually the smartest person. He just cheats, and I don't really like that interpretation of Riddler. I always consider him like, oh, one of the smartest ones or something.
Yeah, that's why I kind of prefer like with both the '90s and even the original the Batman version of Riddler where he creates these death traps like he does a little bit of cheating but it's just where he wants to win.
I love the 2004 Riddler. That's my number one Riddler adaptation. I don't. The not, B Taz Riddler is okay. It just I can't get over the fact that his origin story is just because he didn't read the contract and he got screwed over. I mean, you're the smartest guy, Eddie. You should have read the contract before you signed it.
Yeah, though I do like that episode mostly because the fact that even though Riddler didn't succeed in his goal, he did get away, and that billionaire is basically scarred for life.
hmm That's probably the only thing that's like keeping that episode really at least good for me because it's like those two moments where he escapes and that billionaire is just like he's just scared and he has like a shotgun and he just like can't sleep.
Yeah, though for that series, I think the best Riddler episode would be Riddler's Reform.
Oh yes, that one. That one's actually really good. Now I think about it. Just like Hal Evelyn, and he's like, "How did he survive?" And he's just like, it's just like screaming at the top of his lungs. Even Joker was just like, "Oh my gosh, someone shut him up."
I know, right? I just like, wow, you really see like the insanity this guy has, and it's no wonder John Glover got to play the role of Jason Woodrue in Batman Forever.
Oh yeah, the Riddler actor like came back on like Batman and Robin. I totally forgot about that.
Yep. Oh, and hi DZ Gameplays.
What's up, DZ? He's one of my viewers. We like because I live stream like games with my other buddy in a chair. Yeah, we just yeah he pops up there every now and then. So it's cool. It's cool to see you, DZ.
Nice. But yeah, because even like I would say for the 2004's Batman, I think my favorite Riddler episodes would have to be Riddler's Revenge and I would say his debut episode because I would say they didn't do too much with that version of Riddler, sadly.
Voiced by Freddy Krueger. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. I love the 2004 Riddler. But no, I love Jim Carrey's Riddler in Batman Forever. Just like so wacky, so goofy. Just there's also this sort of sympathetic personality that you can sort of sympathize it because that version of Riddler in Batman Forever is like he wants to like express his ideas, he wants to be seen and all that stuff. Like look at his apartment; it's like so compact and all that stuff, and he has these ideas and the billboard, and he wants to show them out to the world, and you can kind of sympathize with that.
Yeah, that's one thing I appreciate what they done with the Batman villains because they're just people. You know, they're not all super powered or anything. They just like especially in his case where he just wants to be, has some
No,
kind of acceptance and just, he had a bit of little hero worship. And of course, he started the whole trend with how villains they look nerdy at first, but then because of whatever happens to them, they look hot.
yeah, or like they idolize their superhero, and then they realize they're just like they get disappointed when they meet their heroes and then they turn into the feeling arc. I can't imagine like I can't. It's just there's so many um, movies just do that. I think of Incredibles syndrome. Like
Oh yeah, that I did like that character, although he's a bit annoying. And oh, hi there, Angel of Death, and yeah, I would say look, yeah, because yeah, Robert Englund has done great as Riddler in that Batman show, and yeah, and the Arkham games by William Wigber, yeah, he was pretty good too. Definitely had a bit. I would say it has a mixture of the '90s and 2004's Riddler.
Yeah, and I like how Raleigh Wingar from the Arkham games, like he gets more and more like desperate to like prove Batman because like he starts off, pretty calm and collected, and then he's just like gets super. What's the word I'm looking for? He gets desperate at this point because he's like, "How are you winning? You keep beating me."
Yeah, he was losing his mind in that one, and yeah, because I always felt like with the 2004's Riddler with his death traps, it had a very Saw like influence since those movies were coming out around that time.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that Batman Forever Riddler, like he didn't really have these death traps. I guess he did kind of have it near the climax of the film, like bombs on the water, and then you have like this satellite thing just shooting out lightning.
Yeah, and then the whole like with the curtains, making Batman choose between either saving Chase or Robin.
Yeah. Those were good, like the death traps, I guess.
Yep.
I do love that sequence of love because it's just like it's so comic booky because like how the initial it's just like a battleship game board type of aesthetic and they're just like yeah D2 bam.
Yeah, I was like that. I just like that scene where
You
he's
sunk
like
my battleship.
him and Two Face just giggling with each other. I'm just like, wow.
What a weird take of Two Face because he just matches the same energy as Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Oh, and Angel Death says, I think you were thinking of the word obsessed.
Yes, assess. That's what I was looking for. He like the Arkham games. He just becomes more and more assessed, and he's just like, no, like you're not supposed to win. You're not supposed to survive. But no, I
Yeah,
thought that you suck my battleship. This is Jim Carrey. Oh my god.
yeah. It's just funny how like while on screen they work together, but behind the scenes they did not really like each other. The
Mm.
actors.
I always find that surprising because, like, really,
But hey, I mean, they're good at their job if they're willing to if they can hide like any animosity or any dislike for people.
I wonder if that was the reason why the Two Face actor wanted to match Jim Carrey's energy or something.
Yeah, because I think they wanted to like try to outshine each other. Though, yeah, for Two Face, it was a bit.
There's no personality. It's just one guy.
Yeah, like I mean, you do. I mean, I think the only scene that was like very compelling that didn't felt like a Joker copy was the opening scene where he's talking with a security guard, going with the whole blind, stupid luck thing with flipping the coin. It was like that was pretty intimidating. And but after that, he's just acting like the Joker.
Basically, there's no split personality. There's none of that. It's just I don't even know why he wants to kill Batman. Is it because he's upset that he got his face burned? I don't know. The guy seems like he's okay. He's embracing it. I don't know why he needs to kill him.
Yeah, that's why I feel like this movie, like it may be a sequel, but I feel like it could be its own thing because because up until the Dark Knight, we don't see exactly what happens. Just mostly as a as like a recording from that. I guess it happened before the movie started.
Hmm. I remember when I watched that scene, I was like, "Did I miss a movie? Did I like miss something? Did I? Did I need to go watch another movie?" Nope. It's just videotape screen. Bam.
Yeah, and it's just that like for Tommy Lee Jones, I feel like he nailed the character, and I feel like they took the look of it from the '90s a bit, but adding the more flashy colors from the older comics, like with his scarred face looking very more purple, pinkish.
I think in the first comics, it was green and all that stuff.
Yeah,
There's so many like there's green, there's purple, there's blue, and then there's the
just
more realistic side of things.
yeah, yeah. Though I did like that he had two girls by his side.
Yeah, those two girls. I did like the set of Two Faces hideout. It's just like, well, one side is good and the other side is just like pure chaos. This is
Yeah, down to like with the decorations, the type of food and drinks.
it's so weird. I'm like, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, you're right, Angel of Death. Yeah, Jim Carrey doesn't have anything against Tommy Jones. I guess for some reason Jones had something more against Jim Carrey. And hey there, Batman in the chair.
What's up, man? Yeah.
Still like, and another influence from the animated series in this movie is how Two Face was beaten, which it's kind of ironic how Bruce is all about like not trying to kill Two Face, and yet
Yeah, kills him. Or indirectly kills him, I guess.
yeah, by doing the same thing he did at the end of Two Face Part Two with throwing a whole bunch of coins just to like distract him. Yet, I mean, come on, you're over a ledge over a bunch of spikes. I mean, like you basically decided, okay, I'm going to kill this guy so that way Robin doesn't have to.
Don't kill him, Robin. Revenge is not the course. It just kills him. I got this.
Yeah, it's just a weird, funny movie, but it's perfect for the '90s.
Mhm. Okay, guys, remember if you ever come across Two Face, just make sure you have like tons of quarters in your pocket, basically, and just throw in the air. Bam! Can't decide which one it is.
And then, of course, the famous scene like with your entrance was good, his was better.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. But no, I don't understand what's Two Face goal. Like he just wants to kill Batman. Okay, why? I understand Riddler's goal. I don't know what your goal is. You're just there.
Yeah, that's one thing I think I appreciate that with the Dark Knight, how Two Face, while short lived, was just being a vigilante that has no problem with killing people. Because I feel like that's actually the right direction for him because like Harvey, he was a lawyer. He wanted to make Gotham better, and I feel like it makes more sense for him just to like have that same aspect, just willing to do extreme measures. I just feel like it doesn't make sense for him just to be another criminal.
And Batman also throw a bunch of coins at the penny plunger. You talk about that one scene where just like the giant penny like crushes him. I think you're talking about that.
Oh yeah, that was in the Batgirl debut two-parter.
Mhm.
let's let's see. Let's see. For Angel of Death, I said it's also been red, which is my favorite color for Two Face's scarred size. And didn't Batman also throw a bunch of coins at the Penny Plunderer?
Yeah, I think it's like the giant coin. There's like a scene or something in the comics, and like he crushes him to death. I think.
Yep, yep. And you're right, Angel of Death. Batman did kill Two Face. I mean, it was to save the kid, but yeah, basically, yeah, he pushed him over and just let him fall to his death.
That is my one problem with this movie. It tries so hard to like not kill anyone. Like they try so hard not have Batman kill anyone, right? And then for no apparent reason, he just kills Two Face at the end. I'm like, what? Like you were trying so hard, and then you just
Yeah. And Angel Death says, yeah, it's funny that the only live action Batman that never kill anyone are George Clooney and Robert Pattinson.
arguably the worst Batman and Robert Pat. Oh, George. Okay, he was talking about George Clooney.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny with George Clooney. You think that on paper it would make sense for him to be Batman because I guess as far as for Bruce Wayne, he does have the look and everything. I just think it's the direction.
Yeah, I don't know. George Clooney's like, yeah, it looks Bruce Wayne, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, as far as for the acting Val Kilmer, I mean, it's I guess very middle ground. But I guess if I had to rank as far as for performances, I would put him at second best. And I guess it's because as he looks as Bruce Wayne, I feel like I want to say he's probably like the tallest of the actors, as and having a good sort of build because I would say thanks to like the Top Gun training, but plus even his hairstyle, like it kind of reminds me of like the Neil Adams or like Neil Adams hairstyle, just in Kilmer's case being more blonde.
Yeah, Val Kilmer is like 6 foot tall. I just looked it up.
Yeah, because like I remember with that scene where he was like standing up and everything while he was getting patched up, talking to Dick. It was like, okay, wow, this guy's pretty tall and big. Like he looks like what James Bond would looks more like very James Bondish kind of superhero build.
I mean, that's kind of close. I mean, I think Batman's what 6'2", so he's close. So put extra heel, like extra height on the boots, basically. Bam.
Yeah, because I mean, I would have liked it if Val Kilmer would have been part of Batman and Robin, but
I
fortunately,
think I think he was like, yeah, I want to do something else. I think that's what happened.
yeah. Plus, I think there might have been some tension. I think between him and some of the other actors or so. So
Or the fans or something. I don't really know.
yeah,
Comic
who?
book like influence is not like what it was today, at least like back then. Because I don't know. Remember, like fans were just like, freaking Michael Keaton's the worst Batman. Get rid of him." And then, like as soon as they watch the movie, they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's the best."
Yeah, I know it. Right. Same with Heath Ledger and stuff. And Angel just confirmed it. Apparently, Val Kilmer and Joel Schumacher hated each other.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yep. And Batman Chair says, I would say that Batman Forever was a bit underrated. I remember actually enjoying the movie when I watched it.
That's like Batman Forever is like a time where like kids just watch it because I do feel like it's like a comic booky for kids movie. If you ask me.
Yeah, I remember when I would watch it a few times, especially on VHS, like between, and I would take a look at both that and Batman Robin. I found myself watching Forever more, just I guess because with Jim Carrey, just like the whole island death trap kind of vibe with where it was like very much even, like with Batman going after Riddler, Robin after Two Face.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just like it, I, mm, I don't want to say it's a kids movie because there's a lot of scenes where it's like, oh, that's really suggestive. So I'm really hesitant to call it a kids movie. It's like, yeah, it's like a kids movie, but it's got these scenes.
Oh yeah, especially with Riddler once he's destroying like the Batcave and everything. I'm not saying though right here on the stream, but it's it's just hilarious the way he does it, throwing like pretending he's throwing a baseball and everything.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the sort of like the look of the Batcave. Maybe because it's like the actual set and not like green screen.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because there's definitely more of an atmosphere with the Batcave. I mean, at least they did that in Batman Returns, at least a little bit more than the first one, but they definitely pulled it further. And yep, Brian, yep, that's the saying. I just see it in the comments.
Yep.
Let's see. An Angel of Death says it's fun when you watch it as a kid, but it doesn't exactly hold up. A 30-year-old Val Kilmer adopting a 23-year-old Chris O'Donnell in the film is still bizarre to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I mean, well, actually, it's a question. Like, was he 23 years old at the time of the film?
Maybe I'm.
I mean, probably. Though I would say, like, given that he was saying that Dick Grayson caused him, I would say, like, he would be like 18. I guess his character would be like 18 at least, or
Can you imagine like if Christian Bale did Robin instead of Kristen O'Donnell? Because like originally Christian Bale auditioned for Robin in Batman Forever, and I'm just like, whoa,
that would
full.
be that would be cool. Because, interesting enough, one of his favorite graphic novels was Dark Victory, which introduced Robin in the whole, I guess, long Halloween kind of story of the comics.
Yeah, I do have Long Halloween on my bookshelf over there, along with the original book and like other tales.
Yeah, yeah, I like the Long Halloween, both the book and the animated movie.
I have the anime movie. I don't understand why people are hating the Tomorrowverse, as fans will call it, that style of films.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit I'm not exactly like crazy about them as compared to other films. I mean, I think just because for me, I've seen so many different animated films of DC over the years, and because like for Superman Map Tomorrow, like it's okay, but it's just another origin story. And at first, I didn't like the animation. It just felt so less detailed. I don't know, kind of I don't know blocky. Because I feel like for Superman's design, it was just a bit off. But for the Long Halloween, I felt like it fits because I like it was because I feel like they managed to create some unique designs of the Bat villains, like with Joker, with Ivy, and
I love Batman's design in that first Long Halloween movie. I think it's just pretty much perfect. I don't really have an issue with it. I'd probably maybe change some stuff a
yeah.
little.
Although it does remind me a bit of like a little bit of the TMBA Batman design or like the first season of Young Justice.
Yeah, and then they took that. I know a lot of people really wanted the no, Tim Sale style of that movie. And
Yeah,
I like Tim Sale, but that Catwoman design in that book is really bad. So I'm really glad the animated version was like, okay, we're doing the BTAS version of Catwoman.
yeah. Let's see. Angel just says it. Let's see. Jeff Love's writing isn't my favorite, but there's things I appreciate. Yeah, I mean, sometimes with this writing, like he's created some interesting set pieces because I think one of my favorite is probably from the Supergirl story where you see Wonder Woman and Big Barda fight against the female Furies. Like that's like my favorite fight scene overall.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched that movie. If I'm being honest, it's been a really long time.
Yeah, because one thing I say for what Jeff Love gets is like the character personalities, their dynamics, their motives. Because I feel like he understands the way they think, and everything.
I don't know. I'm like 50-50. I think he can make good stories. I like some certain parts of his writing, and there's other parts I'm like, eh, eh. I think part of the reason, but not the only one, is because it's extremely noticeable that their budget had been drastically reduced since 2012.
Yeah, I feel like after that point, I want to say because I would get almost every one of them from the beginning. Like from Superman Doomsday, I would get them pretty much up to like when Bruce Timm was producing most of them, up until like just after the Dark Knight Returns when they came out. And I feel like for some of like the initial shared universe, the New 52, they were okay, but some of them it wasn't like not my favorite just because I felt like for Justice League War it was just it felt like I was watching just basically DC's response to the Avengers. Like it was almost like kind of like the same thing where you get like the character dynamics, they have to fight against like an alien invasion and everything.
Yeah, it's and then like I don't know why. Maybe their budget was reduced, and then like they have less time to work on it, all that stuff. Because like these movies are released yearly around.
Yeah, they would do like 3 or 4.
Yeah, which is like crazy and all that stuff. Like when they were releasing Crisis on Earth and Earth and all that stuff, like they were releasing it pretty like they came out soon. I'm like, oh my gosh, like is the animation going to suffer this? And it did. I would say, like at least the second one, like you could really see the animation quality going down.
Yeah, luckily for some films they did step it up. Like I always like the animation quality with the Batman Hush movie, despite some of its how it may not exactly be a full adaptation of the original graphic novel.
Yeah, and then I think that Batman Ninja movie, like that animation was just like it's weird, but it's good. Like I actually just watched this sequel movie. I thought the animation was great.
Oh yeah, with the Yazuka League.
Yeah, I just watched that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so so anime. I love it.
I'll definitely check that out because it does look pretty interesting to see. I guess like because it's basically Batman up against an evil version of the Justice League.
I would say it's better than the first movie. I would say.
Well, I guess there's no giant robots being involved in feudal Japan then.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Yeah, I do agree with you, Angel. I did like Catwoman's design in the anime adaptation of The Long Halloween. Like 50-50 on being a better version of the B-Test Catwoman because I mean, yeah, I feel like with the yellow belt, not exactly good for stealth, but I guess I really liked how with that Catwoman suit it had a very Egyptian like quality, like one of those cats you would see like in like the pyramids and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, and one that's surprisingly great animation is the Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. Yeah, that wasn't too bad, although that one was just very odd to me.
Very weird story. It's like, why adapt this adaptation of the book? Like, it's not really a Batman story that many fans talk about. I'm like, okay.
I guess they want to go with the aesthetic and just the unique character choices. I mean, because I would say, I mean, look at how many graphic novels that involves like the Joker, and there's very few that involves like other villains.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what they could have adapted. I guess they couldn't adapt Batman Universe. That could have been like one of the adaptations they could have done because that's a great book.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like at this point they covered almost every major Batman story story arc. At least that's I think
Except
at least
yeah,
currently.
except for Nightfall so far. That's the only big adaptation that fans really want to see.
Yeah. Although another one that I would be interested in seeing would be the Three Jokers one.
Oh,
I never read that, but it was pretty interesting just to see like the three different versions of the Joker, and I guess in a way it kind of makes sense because I haven't wondered if that would make sense for the DCU version of Joker.
I don't know. Three Jokers. Like, I like parts of it. I like. I don't know, just it's like I like it. It's like it's just one man doing it. I think I like the concept of it, but I don't really like. I don't know.
Well, one could say that the DCU has a little influence with that, just because of how for Joker basically incorporate his consciousness into Tim Drake. I mean, I mean that who's to say he couldn't do that to someone else that's like already an adult, just to make sure that that he can still be the Joker if, let's say, he did die. Because I mean, think of all the times in the DCU Joker got killed supposedly.
Yeah, I actually had a discussion with this last night because like my friend was just like, yeah, how does like Joker keep surviving? And it's like he literally fell into the smokestack. How did he survive? And I was like, because I had no answer.
Yeah, because I mean, you got the smokestack, you got the shark,
Yeah,
the explosion on Lex's wing.
yeah, with Lex's Wayne. What
Yeah.
other cheap deaths he escaped?
Uh, I guess you could say at the end of Phantasm, although the comics showcase that Andrea escaped, just used her disappearing trick.
James Darcy's Batman run in the main continuity confirmed the other Joker to be different personalities in his head. Yeah, I just every comic book, like they're always retconning stuff.
Yeah, but I guess that's what I guess I find it entertaining. Like I may have gone with three, but I guess it's because of how in the comics there was like three different personalities with Joker. How you got like the mass murdering gangster clown that started in the 40s, then during the 50s and 60s you have the more violent prankster. Then after that, you got the more agent of chaos thing.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with three different personalities he has. I'm not sure like three different people.
Yeah, I would have gone at least with two, just because of going with the whole like how there's two Jokers in the deck.
Yeah,
That's one thing I guess I kind of liked about with when they did what they did in Gotham for Joker, so to say.
yeah, but it wasn't retcon because the Joker's was Black Labor book and was always Elseworlds. Hmm,
Ah, it's an Elseworld story. Okay, so it's not canon. Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, but I guess I feel like if Joker implemented his consciousness into a few people, like before his death by Robin, I feel like that would make kind of sense, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure what other Batman stories they could adapt at this point.
I mean, they got Batman Universe, and then let me see what else I have. Well, I guess White Knight, but Joker's in that story.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's a crazy one where he's like normal again, where he's like completely normal. So that'd be interesting, and perhaps it'd be No Man's Land because I read that book and it was kind of interesting.
Oh, the Cult, yeah, Batman the Cult.
Is that the one with Hugo Strange, or am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of a different story arc.
I think you're thinking Batman the Monster Men. I think that's what you're thinking. Are
Yeah,
you,
that's it.
yeah, you're thinking like okay, like there's these monsters and all that stuff. It's drawn. It's Mark. I think it's drawn by Mark. I can't. I forget his name. Frick. Serum Lake likes his artist. Like that artist. I'm trying to remember that artist. Damn
Ah, with Deacon Blackfire. Yep, I remember him from the Arkham Knight game.
it. Yeah, that one side mission.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, I guess, on the Arkham Knight? Because I've seen like some recent streams, mostly from Nostalgia Critic, for how he's a bit critical, I guess, of how like with the whole Jason Todd being the Arkham Knight from the beginning.
Well, funny enough, I'm in the process of making a Batmobile video for Arkham Knight and discussing why I love that car so much in the game.
Yeah, because I didn't mind the overuse of the Batmobile because I mean, how many games where you get to use a car but not as a racing game, you know?
Hmm.
Because I feel like to have a game as Batman where not only get to, glide, but also drive throughout the city of Gotham, almost instantly, I feel like, that's a plus to me.
Yeah, I was trying to think like I won't say much about the Batmobile because again I'm working on a video and I have like so many thoughts about that. Just need to like wrap up some writing and some editing, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about the other stuff. Uh, it's nothing new. Everyone figured out Jason was Arkham Knight before the game came out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But I would say they weren't entirely lying because I would say for Arkham Knight, that is an original idea, and I kind of like that more than just Red Hood.
Hmm. Uh, I love the Arkham Knight design. I think Troy Baker did a great job. I love the voice modulator they gave him. Like that's always cool. I love the scene when you first see him and he talks to Batman. So it's like, keep your guns trained on him. And he's just like, because he knows everything. I'm like, crap, he knows me. And then of course you have the freaking tank behind them. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yep. Yeah, no, I liked it because it makes sense in this case because usually with Jason he has anger towards both Batman and Joker, but with Joker dead, he has to take out his anger on someone. So in this case, Batman.
Yeah, I mean, it is predictable with Jason, but there's other times where it's just like, oh, that wasn't predictable, like Joker coming back or Barbara fake being dead. That those are surprises. Like, did everyone like knew that?
Yeah. Although I wonder, like, if not Jason, who would you rather have be the Arkham Knight?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I don't know. I think I think I'm fine with Jason. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe Damian Wayne, but not not like him as a kid. I want to say like the heretic, because like the older clone of Damien, just not dressing like a heretic, just dressing as like the Arkham Knight.
Yeah, it's just like because I'm just like, well, if we can't do Jason, who can pose a threat to him? Because like again, like he knows all of his tactics. So the question would be like, how would he know?
Yeah, I guess I thought that it'd be interesting it because I always remember in Arkham City when Talia mentions that night they spent in Metropolis. I always think that like, oh, would that be like when Damien could have been conceived?
Hmm. That's always been like, I think I've always been like a fan to a theory or something like, oh, could it be? And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's right there. They could do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, but I figured like maybe for the Arkham Knight, it could have been like where Raish, like before he died, he had some kind of setup with to have an heir with the DNA of Bruce and Talia, just so that way when he'd be awakened if and when Raish would have died, technically, but because that did kind of happen by the end of Arkham City.
I don't know. My thing with like that theory though is just like the timeline though, because the timeline's always been like sort of confusing. But what's been really consistent is that okay, when Arkham Knight begins, he's in his 10-year career, all that stuff. And I'm just
Yeah.
like that baby would have to like grow up like it would have to be like really far back or something like that.
Yep. And your
Yeah,
true angel, yeah, and your true angel death. Raish, he does return Arkham Knight, but that was a eventual DLC. I guess
yeah,
I
yeah.
get
DC. Yeah, we were so caught up in the moment we didn't notice the first time Joker was able to move the gun that Barbara shot herself with.
yeah, that's true because that's one thing I liked about Scarecrow being one of the main villains was that with his fear gas, you never know what's real and what's not.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking like besides besides I guess Damien, I think what would have been interesting for an Arkham Knight instead would have been Hush. Because I feel like that'd be more interesting if like they took some elements from the Hush storyline where like just Thomas Elliot would have worked with some of the villains because like how because correct me if I'm wrong, but in the original Hush storyline he was working with Riddler. I
Yeah, I think that's what happened. It's been like a long time since I read Hush, but I think that's what happened. Like he figured out his identity, and like Riddler was kind of helping him and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that maybe it for with the Arkham Knight game, Tommy would work with Scarecrow. And I think because of how, like, with his face thing, it'd be interesting, I guess, if Tommy were, while having the Bruce Wayne face, he would become the Arkham Knight, as to help with the whole, like, dark reflection kind of thing. Because I guess it'd be an interesting kind of plan instead of just waiting a whole year just to basically get into Bruce's main office and try to steal his money.
I'm just reading Adrian Dead's comment. There's a lot to love, but Arkham Knight, but you could definitely tell the absence of Paul Dini in the story department. The newest Arkham game, Batman Arkham Shadow, had a way better story. Is there any confirmed canon ending for Race in the Arkham Knight DLC, or is it up in the air?
Yeah, for Arkham Knight, I guess it's up in the air because
Suicide Squad never gave us a definitive answer, so we have no idea.
no, because I guess yeah, pretty much. I would say the more canon ending would have to be with basically letting Nissa take control, because whenever I think of that line Raish had when he says "proud of you," it's more than just, I guess, letting him die, but I think it's just to, like, like giving me peace, because at least in the Arkham version, Raish just hated himself for how he was becoming more and more monstrous with the Lazarus Pit. So, like, I feel like he would be glad just to be dead. To be dead.
Yeah, that was his whole thing. It's just like, I don't want to continue. It's like I'm being really evil. I'm evil.
Yeah, but you're right though, Angel Death. Yeah, because I do miss Paul Dini's style, because that's what I liked about the first two games. Like, because Paul Dini found a way how to make Hugo Strange an intriguing villain. It was just interesting with how he's able to manipulate some of the villains to turn against each other to basically keep them at bay. Almost like how, like, he had Penguin kidnap Freeze, and then having Victor work on a cure for Joker, but just, he was, and even having Two-Face and Catwoman butting heads against each other. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was like the interview tapes and all that stuff. I'm still surprised that Brainiac voice actor from the DCAU voiced Super Strange. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I'll admit, at first I thought that was like Christopher Lee, just because it sounded so much like him, and I guess because of the Clone Wars,
Mm-hmm.
since that's also Corey Burton.
I don't know. I like Paul Dini's writing in those style of games. It's just like he never really wrote any, I guess, maybe character development, I guess. I don't know. There was a little bit of it. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like.
Well, I would say for character development for Arkham, I would say there's definitely a good character development in Arkham City, just for how Batman was pushed almost to the edge.
Yeah, but Paul Dini didn't really write the ending. At least like Joker dying or something like that. I thought that was City had more development, I guess, because he kind of loses. He just straight up lose. Like he didn't stop Protocol 10, failed to save the love of his life, and failed to save Joker.
Yeah, because Baldy definitely likes, like, some tragic elements while adding some humor to it, especially when it comes with Joker.
Yeah, I do like his Asylum story a lot. I thought that's always a good story.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely like the setting and everything. And let's see, I always interpret it as the biggest insult Batman could have heard from him, because he did what Raish wanted him to do for so many years, and what Raish would have done in his position. Yeah, I would say possibly, but it's just like, would you rather let the League of Assassins continue under Raish's rule, or at least have it under someone else? Like, because if Nissa does keep her word that she would keep the assassins out of Gotham, then
I'm so torn up about that DLC because it's like, do I save him or do I not? Because like, if I don't save him, I'm basically killing him because I have the antidote.
yeah. But I mean, I would say that's not gonna heal, like, the hole in his chest, because I mean he looks like a zombie pretty much.
Yeah, he just dies like 5 minutes later after getting revived. Ugh.
Yeah, because I mean, because I feel like if there's like a bunch of like I don't know, they always it's always different with how they've done the Lazarus pits. Like I feel like it's not like a magical cure all for everything. Like if because I don't think it'd be like some of those things where it would magically heal like your wounds or anything. At
Yeah.
least not I don't think not that it has ever been tested. At least from anything I've seen before.
I actually prefer Raish to stay in charge because, quite simply, I just think story wise it's more interesting with Raish around than with Nissa.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But given that it was the last Batman game Rocksteady developed, I would say it could go either way, just because they're not going to do anything Batman focused again. Although, given what happened with Suicide Squad, we'll see what happens.
I want to kill it. I don't know why I paid that game. I don't know why I played it.
I know, right? I feel like at this point they should have made a Just League video game, because like when you go into the Batman museum and you find out exactly kind of like it's what happened with Bruce afterwards, I feel like this could have been a whole other game. There could have been a whole other game where or something where you showcase, oh, Batman comes out of hiding because I don't know, I guess there's some alien invasion where you need all the heroes to work together.
uh, just,
Let's see.
mm,
If your organs are starting to show, it's time to let that person go. Yeah, I say so. And Arkham Origins Shadows definition had the most character development for Batman, I felt. Yeah, I would say for with Arkham Origins, it definitely felt very like B-test elements to me. I feel like because of I feel like because with some of the voice, especially for Troy Baker, how he does a young Joker, it felt right. And even I love the fact that in the Batcave there was a note from Andrea.
yeah, and
And
then like, they continued that in like Arkham Shadow with like the Force Call, all that stuff. That was really cool. I don't know if you played Shadow or not. I did.
I have not, because I don't have the VR set. I mean, nothing against it. Just for me, I always get a little bit disoriented after a little bit while. So it's just I don't know. For me, it's I'm rather simply just with having the controller with
No, that's perfectly fine. I played it. My friend like he's like, "Yo, I have this Quest 3. You want to play?" I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah." So I put it on. I played it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like it's definitely worth it. I would say.
yeah, because it is interesting. That I haven't seen the whole story, but I got the gist of it with the Rat King and with basically providing, I guess, the Arkham version origin of Two Face, as well as bring in Dick Grayson Robin, which, well, at least for Dick Grayson, which is surprising just to see him being part of the rat cult.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I like fought that raccoon, I was like, "There's something odd about it." And then I think like a day later, I was like, "I know, I finally figured out it's Dick Grayson. That's why he looks like because it was voiced by Josh King, that stance and stuff like that." I was like, "It has to be." Glad I was right.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. DC gameplay is yeah, they had great character designs for the Justice League. It's just I think for that game they were overstepping their bounds with the whole guns thing, because I feel like for Deadshot that makes sense, but I feel like for some of the other characters there should be more weapons or other arsenals. Like for Harley Quinn, like like having her bat, having some laughing gas or other weapons, and well, for King Shark, I guess for him it would just be more melee attacks, not just guns.
I have a problem with. I think the reason why that game failed was the game devs because apparently because I read the article I read like I dug into it and all that stuff like okay why did this game fail apparently it was just like Stephen Hill I think the owner of Rocksteady like he was just I don't know I guess he didn't care about the project anymore and like he just like did what he wanted like there's like they were trying to put cars in the game and they worked on it for months and then they scrapped the idea. You know, just It was the behind the scenes like game dev over there. It was just bad management, I would say.
Yeah, because I feel like for that game, it should have just been its own thing, not to be connected to the Arkhamverse in any way. Just have its own have just be its own story.
Hmm. I mean, the only thing I like about the game was like again the Batman Museum, where it's just like, okay, you're the prey and he's the predator, and then just like picking you off one by one.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Harvey's Rat King person reminded me a lot of the Judge from the DCAU. Huh.
That's what I was thinking. Just like, okay, so what? He's just suffering like what, three personalities, I guess, because he doesn't know.
I always liked that part with the Judge and Two Face. I always wondered like I feel like for Two Face they just could have done more with him in the DCAU because I feel like he's supposed to be a big threat that was a former friend, and yet for solo episodes you give him very few.
I like his origin story, and I really do. I always consider that the origin story, and then like that tie-in comic, Batman and Robin Adventures, where there's a two-part story where Joker tricks Two Face into thinking like, oh, Bruce is dating his wife or something, or his fiance.
Oh yeah, Grace. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. But that because of that, Grace finally just gave up on him and everything.
yeah. I don't know if you read that book because I was like, I read that book. I was like, oh man, like I don't
I
know why this wasn't adapted into the.
I think they were planning to at one point, but I guess it was something that was like up in the air. But then it got scrapped
Yeah.
just for the comic. Yeah, I didn't read the actual book of that, but I have seen some of the videos from the Watchtower database.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a follow, viewers, if you haven't yet.
Mm-hmm. Go watch them. They're good.
Yeah, because always wonder about with Grace, and though I guess for Harvey and Bruce, I guess they still got to be on good terms by second chance.
Yeah. I was actually going to mention that Angel of Death because the judge does appear in the Two Face comic book series.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love the fact that now they're bringing more and more like original characters or more original takes from the DCU and comics nowadays.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess okay. I have a little gripe because it's like every new DC project, they're always going back to the DCU or B test stuff, and like, oh yeah, we'll pull this and add this. I'm like, that's cool and all. I'd love seeing B test, but where's the 2004 stuff? Where's this guy? Where's this guy? There's other media we can take influence off, or you know.
I hear you, but it's just I guess
Like I want to see Crank. I want to see the Everywhere Man. I want to see Gearhead. Those guys.
the Crank guy was like okay. Just to me, just feel like just basic to me. It seemed like a very like goofier toy man to me.
Yeah, I think I just want him like the company logo, like Crank's Toy Factory or something. Just like, oh, like there's this reference, not like a full on appearance, I guess.
Yeah.
Just something like that. Just do something. Do other takes. Take this thing. Take that from a comic book, or I don't know. It's just like it's always B tests. That was my problem with Arkham Shadow. It's just like it was just filled with B tests. I was like, I get it, it's B tests, but they also took other inspirations from this cartoon or that comic book series. It's just B tests. I love B tests, but
Well,
damn.
well, at least from the Batman for Arkham Asylum, they did took the influence when Joker was using the Bane Venom formula, just with Titan instead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did bring. Was Music Meister original character from Brutal Ball? I thought that was always like a comic book
Nope,
character.
nope. Music Meister was originally from that show, and they decided to make him canon.
That's really interesting. I did not. I need to look this up real quick. Music Meister.
Let's see. And the game developers for Suicide Squad look so proud of the product, especially when they did the insider episodes before the game came out. Did so much hype for it just to not to do much with the gameplay. Yeah, because I mean, I did find the story initially interesting because I thought that okay, wow, so they're not trying to do the whole like let's try to free them from the mind control. Like, I do like that they were trying to initially kill them, but it just feels like it's a bit. it feels a bit shallow since all they killed was just the clones, and the only leaguer that did die was Wonder Woman, and that was just because of her fighting Superman.
Oh wow, you do learn something new every day. You did came from Bremen Bowl. I didn't know about that. Okay, that's cool.
Let's see, and they did have Krenko's toy factory in Arkham City. Yep,
That that's what I'm saying. Just like more of that.
yeah, yeah. I will say this for the Batman, like I did liked it. It just I felt like in some ways it did feel like a more kid friendly version of the '90s series. Just I guess it was made in 2004, just because of like with the similar suit designs, like with the yellow ellipse symbol, even though the bat shapes are different. The blue highlights on the black cape, and even for like some villains' personalities, like because like I mean, look at Harley. I mean, that episode was written by Bruce Timm, but like it's almost
You mean Paul
pretty.
Dini?
Yeah, by Paul Dini. I know I said Bruce Timm. Yeah, by Paul Dini. Yeah, like minus the. I mean, although I do think that the pop psychiatrist angle, I feel like that's more fitting of Harley's character than being a professional psychiatrist, because sometimes when I see like other versions of Harley, I feel like it makes more sense that she's more of like a pop psychiatrist, not like a legit one. Because like I always think of like in the Harley Quinn show, how when she was a kid she was more crazy, and yet somehow by the time she's in college and as a professional doctor, she's more groomed, more professional. I'm thinking like, is that just an act,
Mhm.
or is she really that chaotic? Just the Joker helped bring that back out or something.
I like. I've always say this. I'll get to Harley Quinn. I always say this. I always think the Batman 2004 show is the number one Batman show. I think it's better than B-Test. I've always stated that. So let me just get that out there. Uh, in terms of Harley Quinn in the 2004 series, I like her a lot. I don't know if I like her more than B-Test version. The reason I say I like her more is because like they established that she's not really a psychiatrist. She's just kind of like she thinks she is, but she's not really. As in BTAS or the DCAU. No, everyone's just like, oh, she's psychiatrist and all that stuff. But if you read the Mad Love like original comic book, she's not a psychiatrist. She cheated through college and all that stuff by using her vitamins,
Yep.
her all that stuff. And that's always I had a problem because like the adaptation of the book, like they kind of skim over that, like oh she because a lot of people get confused. It's like, oh, she's a psychiatrist. How could she fall for a Joker and all that stuff? Because and I always say, well, she's not a psychiatrist to begin with. She never was. She just cheated through that. It's just the episode didn't, um, like they didn't throw that in the episode. Like they didn't adapt that part.
I guess there's more time constraints, and let's
Mm.
see. Yep, the cape and the Batman felt yeah. Another thing, yeah, the cape and the Batman very felt did Todd McFarlane inspired, and yeah, I agree with you, Angel. Like the Batman definitely had a better Hugo Strange. Catwoman slightly, just because I do like Andrea Barbeau's take on it in some parts. Mostly, I think with Catwalk, you scratch my back a bit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really. I think when they look at the Batman 2004 show, they don't recognize the other strength because, like as Angel just says, like they have a better Hugo Strange, they have a better Batgirl, they have a better Firefly. I think what they did with Firefly in the 2004 show is way better than what they did in DCU. Although I did hear that they want to do more Firefly episodes, but like TV censorships and then like of course they had to make Beyond, which I'm not complaining. I love Beyond,
Yeah,
but
no, I hear you. Although it's Firefly, I guess like I did kind of like the angle of Firefly in TMBA where he was like a stalker for a creepy stalker with the whole flame puns thing.
I definitely think they had a really good idea. But again, I guess they didn't have enough time. Like they didn't get around to do more episodes of Firefly, and of course, TV censorship because like I think they wanted to include him in BTAS, but like TV censorship was like no fire, but explosions and gunfire. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I do think that for Kids AB, they were more lenient towards that. I think it was Fox Kids at the time where they did not want Firefly back with BTAS. That's the only thing.
I
Let's
just
see.
felt.
Mm,
Hmm. Hmm. I,
yeah, I guess I do feel. I guess I did like Gray Dazels in the Arkham games. Yeah, I feel like for Andrea Barbeau and Kevin Conroy, like yeah, I think the most chemistry I think they got was with Almost Got Him with that one scene, Catwalk, and maybe a little bit with the whole like Cult of the Cat a bit because I guess I found it very interesting. Like when Selena was just like playing the damsel, like pretending to cry and stuff, and then like Batman was saying like Selena, now's not the time, and then after they just have a kiss, now can
yeah.
we go? Now can we go?
Mhm.
I just feel like I just feel like they may not be a couple, but they're basically acting like
Yeah.
they've been together for a few years, and he's like, all right, let's just go home. I want to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you just remind me of the Valentine's Day video we both did.
Right, yeah, with the love interest, yeah, because I will say for B test for love interest, I would say next to Andrea, there was definitely a good like bond I think between him and Talia, at
Hmm.
least because I guess yeah with Catwoman at least for back I don't know because I guess for 2004's Catwoman like I do like her design a bit. I mean the ears may be a little bit too much, but I guess like I didn't see much of her character to me. Like it just felt like just the same as like in the DCU where she's stealing or she's mostly stealing and stuff. Like I don't know, there's not much dynamic. I mean, you like she does I guess a little some charity work for animals, but you
Yeah.
know it's
Yeah.
basically the same thing. And
It's
also I
just,
think for that one she does more puns.
yeah. It's just pheromones. Like that's really just like what starts a relationship. Just pheromones and all that stuff. I'm just quoting like Creep Crusaders, Catwoman, where they're just like, yeah, there's really no love dynamics, just like pheromones flying around each other. That's why I feel like, at least in the B test one.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just liked on the DCU version of Catwoman more, or at least initially, where she's trying to protect animals. I do like that dynamic, and
And I think it got sort of lost midway as they continued the series because
yeah, although that's with a lot of characters by the time you get to TMBA, because at that point some of the characters like unique traits were reduced or gone away. Like for Poison Ivy, how she was all about protecting the environment, yet by TMBA, most of her episodes are revolve around shopping trips with Harley.
yeah, and then of course the designs for Teen ABA, like oof,
Yeah, some worked, some didn't. I feel like for with Ivy, like I think they could have just gone with a whole like maybe full green skin costume and just have like the leggings from BTAS with part of her outfit and maybe like just two at least two different shades of green, not just black and green.
I'm trying to think of like a teen ABA design I really like because I really don't like the aesthetic of the show at all.
For TNBA, I think the most designs I liked was Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, Scarecrow, and
Okay, Scarecrow's design was really cool.
yeah.
Like just like like the hanging thing on his neck. Like, did he like try to hang himself? And now it's like this kind of, I don't know, like is he dead or what? It's just really just what's his face, you know? So I really like that design.
No, I agree. I agree, and I guess I would say Bane, and even like Bane was a good design. I think it was like
Heavy metal, like just like the collars, spikes around his.
yeah, yeah, yeah. At least he didn't look like a luchador. Which, although I do get the what they're going for, like with the inspiration from it,
Mhm.
because I think Serum Lake provided an explanation for with why with that design because it's based off an old movie I think at the time.
Mm. Yeah, and then I really don't. I have a love hate relationship with Batman's costume in that series.
with TM.
Uh, yeah, it's all black. There's no blue. There's no blue highlights. You know me, I like blue. uh,
True. I guess I kind of like it where it's like, it makes more sense for him to be like all in shadows, but I guess that's why with Justice League, it's a good balance of the two where you get the blue highlights back, but just no yellow ellipse symbol. It's just
and then you got the long pointy ears. That's always my. I think that's my definitive design for Batman. If I'm being honest. Just
yeah,
blue highlights, long ears, all that stuff. The only thing I would add would be like the yellow outline. I always draw that version of Batman. I always doing that style. I mean, my profile pic is sort of like the pointy ears at least.
yeah. In the Batman, Catwoman felt very inspired by Jim Balin's 90s run. And I also really like her design was a combination of the Tim Sale and Darwin Cook designs. Yeah, I guess I could kind of see it with the exaggerated ears. And I thought when they got rid of Catwoman's animal rights thing, it felt like course correction. Felt more. Yeah, I guess I'd say so because I felt like that stick wouldn't last too long just because I feel
Yeah,
like like her thing's all about with mostly with cats. I feel like it's not. I would say like not much you can do about that or anything. So, but
yeah.
yeah, I guess that's what I feel like whether you look at 2004 or the DCU Catwoman's like personality and stuff, it's more or less the same. With just with the whole like stealing for the thrill of the for like the chase kind of thing, and always being romantic towards Batman. Yet Batman always like keeps her at bay and everything. Just I guess for 2004, there's a bit more of more funnier persona, which is interesting since the producers of that series also made Jackie Chan Adventures, and they had a character Viper basically be like a thief. So you could say like you could say like that she was like probably what they had in mind for how to make Catwoman for that show.
In TBA, I prefer Bane's design from the neck down more, minus the spikes. But in Bane's, the mask was a bit better. But I always prefer the mask from the comics that covers his entire face.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I say for Bane, the best ones I've seen was probably Arkham Origins, and I would say Young Justice because I do like Young Justice take on Bane, where he's basically a drug dealer.
Young Justice may be the best adaptation, at least in animation, for Bane, because it's always been, oh, I'm a strong guy, I'm also stupid, or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, at least in B test, he wasn't like stupid. Like he was a bit clever with how a bit clever in his own right for how he was like he kidnapped Robin, trying to do
Yeah.
this death trap thing. But I guess I kind of liked Young Justice more with Bane because, like, he's not some other criminal operating in Gotham. He just operates out of his own island, delivering venom to whoever wants it.
I did like the episode in Beyond, where it's just like, uh, when, like, you think it's Bane, but then when you see him, he's just like this. He's pretty much like, would you even call it alive anymore? He's just in a tank. He's breathing. He's like, that scared me as a child when I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh. It's just,
Yeah. Plus, it doesn't help that it's public knowledge that the producers of B-Test did not really care for Bane as a character. Well, I mean, to be fair, Bane came out roughly around the same time as the series, so like that was probably that was probably hard to figure out what to do with a recent character like that when like with the other villains you have years of source material of what to figure out or what to create based off said material.
yeah. And then I don't think they like, oh, Batman kind of lost or something. Like because, he gets his back broken and all that stuff, man. I guess they were like, he's not losing.
I mean, that would have been an interesting story arc. Maybe not for B test, but at least like maybe somewhere like along like the Justice League time period or so, or around TMVA maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I meant to say Bane earlier, yeah. Good thing we figured out what you were saying.
Yeah, it's just interesting because I mean, for me, I think Batman the Animated Series is my favorite because I guess partially I grew up with it. I mean, are there some episodes that are more misses that I don't care about? Yeah, there are some, but
Beats has my problem with Beats has like there's certain episodes where it's just like the animation is not good because like again they were like it's different studios, the animation is not always consistent. There's some episodes I really don't like or just really mid.
yeah. Although I would say at least by the second season when it was Batman and Robin, the animation was consistent because when you look at the release dates for like all those episodes, for I would say the first 60, there was only one like every day. So like somehow they got a big number of episodes to release to be out within over the span of like a few months. And imagine like having 60 episodes to spam across that time. So like there was probably a huge like
Yeah, like six animation studios like had to like keep up with like production of the episodes and all that stuff.
yeah.
So that's why one episode, like one animation studio, looks better than the other one. I can't remember the animation studio who did Leather Wings because holy crap, that episode of the animation was just good. Too bad they, like, because they were big because they were just putting so much effort in that episode. I don't know why. Like, they really got bankrupt.
Yeah, because I mean, there are some episodes where the animation's like not so great and stuff, but even I would say for some, even if the animation's not so great, like I would say for some of the writing and stuff, like because I always like the episodes like Forgotten, just because like at least for it's
The
something,
premise.
yeah, because at least it's something where it doesn't involve a Gotham City villain or even whether it's a sewer villain or a gangster. It's just basically some random guy that's kidnapping homeless people just to like just to get gold out of it. And it's even more interesting that when Batman is going undercover to try to figure out what's the cause of all this, and he loses his memory. It's just an interesting take, and to see Alfred like putting himself on the line trying to find Bruce.
Yeah, that was a fun episode to watch.
Yeah,
And then the Batwing scene is just like, oh my god! It's just, I don't know how he didn't die. I don't know.
yeah.
Love it.
And I guess I do appreciate that for with the Batman, at least for like the entire show run. Like it's they they have a more consistent animation because luckily they kept it simple, where it's only like 13 episodes per season.
Yeah, some of the animation team we did B test worked on that show. I think the animators on Master of the Phantasm worked on like a few episodes of the 2004 series and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess just to me because I guess feel like after seeing like with the 90s and stuff and of the DC, I felt like with the 2004, it's just like it's somewhat more like the same thing kind of thing, just with trying to do something different with less known characters that either didn't appear in the previous show or at least had very limited screen time, like with Hugo Strange, because I did like how he was a psychiatrist at Arkham and stuff, and how he was creating Dave and everything.
Yeah, he created Dave, and then they really made him a big villain. Like they put more screen time on that. They were going to do. I don't have any notes. Like I think they were going to do more stuff with them in like season 4 or 5 or something like that. Because I have because the storyboard. It's just like he figures out Batman's true identity and all that stuff. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah,
And
I was often wonder like like because usually Hugo Strange is supposed to be one of the few that knows Batman's identity, and yet that never came to pass.
apparently they were going to do that, but they never did it. I talked to Brad Rader. He didn't know. I emailed the director.
Hmm.
Hasn't got back to me. So I have no idea why they cut it or what was the plan or anything like that.
Yeah, because I know for that show they were also going to try to do a Hush movie sequel, which that would have been interesting given the time that comic came out with and with the characters and everything. Because that's one other thing I guess I didn't care much for Catwoman, because like with the whole love dynamic, it was very one sided. Like you never saw it go anywhere. Just because like how Catwoman would at least appear in almost every season, but like after season four, it was even for season four, it was like a very small appear small appearance, and then after that, she just didn't appear again. Just like I don't know, I guess that's one thing. Like they never did much with the love dynamic. Just the one date that she had with Bruce, and even with Bruce, it was very one sided. Where just in the opposite.
Yeah, like Vicky Vale in the Overwatch, like in the movie. Like they never did anything with Vicky Vale after the movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
because
she
it
did, yeah, she did appear in a tie-in comic, but like she wasn't really big or anything. She just made like a cameo.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. The Batman was the first instance Mercy Graves picked as an Asian American woman, which was later incorporated in the comics. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird because like in the storyboard, she's like her DCAU counterpart, like Justice League Unlimited with the hair. So it's I don't know, it's very fascinating. Like because the storyboard, like I wonder if like they were originally going to do like the just like okay have the normal version and then like oh no let's just make her Asian.
Well, I would say, given the nature of the show, it's a very anime influenced Batman series.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Let's see.
Love
Funny
that.
enough, I felt Bruce and the Batman started being more interested in Catwoman when he met her as Selena Kyle. Yeah, because when they had that episode where they had the date, he was definitely interested in her, but she was just using him to see what she could steal from him. But all he had was just dog art.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. It's just dogs. Wish they.
Yeah, because I guess I liked it more. How I guess I liked it more for like yeah, because that's also happened in B Task where Batman was more in love with Selina, but Selina liked him more as Batman.
I don't. I don't. I think the TV networks in while Batman have more romance. I remember Rita Romano. He did like an interview and all that stuff. Like he tried to play like the sort of like he's trying to flirt with the kind of with the actor with Catwoman. You know, just bring like little flair. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm just like spicing things up." He's like, "Don't do that." And he's like, "Okay."
No, I got you. In
Love Rita.
TNB, in TNB, I was more fond of the more classic Burgess Meredith penguin design than the Dan DeVito. Yeah, I kind of both. I mean, at least with the B-Test version of Penguin, like it was toned down a bit. But yeah, I felt like with Penguin, it was like they mixed in a little bit of Killer Croc's origin with him.
Oh, yeah, deformed child. Ugh, get rid of him.
Yeah, just yeah, and even being called like the Penguin Man of the Sewers. I mean, that's just basically Killer Croc.
Basic. I never thought about that. Now I can't get that. I can't unsee that now.
Which I mean makes sense. Like for like because like oh, if someone's being made fun of just because of they're just like overly fat and stuff. I mean like that's old. But being made fun of for looking like a half man half penguin thing, then like that's more compelling, and it does fit within Tim Burton's wheelhouse.
I like how the for sure penguin's just like this master like comfy fighting thing. Penguin, like you're basically like you have this master martial artist. I love the 2004 penguin, and then you have those his little henchmen. I'm trying to remember what their names are.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
the
yeah,
Kabuki twins.
yeah, the Bukuki trends. I always forget their name, maybe because they don't say their names like at all.
Nope.
One line. Like I remember, I looked up was like, what's their names, all that stuff. That's like the Kabuki twins. It's like that's their name. I thought that was just like something Batman just made up at the time. That's their name. Okay.
Yeah. I think I've never seen that like in the bios on the World's Finest website.
Yeah. That's yeah. I used the World's Finest website to make my first video, like oh behind the scenes or art or something.
Yeah, that site does provide some good imagery and clips. And I guess that's one thing I will say about with the Batman. Like they did something more with the characters, like for Penguin, and I guess back to Firefly. I do like the fact that for Firefly, he was just basically sort of, I guess, a merc for hire, or correction, I mean a corporate saboteur for hire. I guess that's more unique, and the one
Yeah, it was
thing,
like yeah, it was
yeah,
just like a merc for hire. Mr. Freeze hired him. He got hired, Sabotage, and then his final episode, White Heat, was really good.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, it felt odd to skip making him like Phosphorus, I guess instead or so. I mean, I guess it makes sense with the whole heat thing, though. Just they were laying on the puns a little too thick, at least for me.
That Batman design, holy crap, that was awesome. Full color mask, wet eyes, silver.
Yeah, it
So,
makes sense. Though I do like his dynamic to be opposite of Mister Freeze. For Mister Freeze, it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. I do like his design, the use of his powers, since he doesn't have a gun, freeze gun anymore. It's just out of his hands, which is kind of like Batman Beyond, just mostly. Although for that one, it's mostly tech. But I feel like without the motivation with Nora and everything, it's just making him just a just basically a cheap crook, as Nightwing quoted. Just I don't know.
well, yeah. Well, here's my thing with Mister Freeze is like, because I try to read most adaptations of Mister Freeze, and I always go back to like his wife and all that stuff. But like all the other adaptations of Mister Freeze, they don't quite nail it in the B test version. All that well. Like the New 52, they made him this sort of crazy guy. He's like, oh, that's my wife or stuff, but like it's not his wife. It's just like a woman he found in Wayne Powers. It's just that all that stuff. The reason I like the 2004 show is because like they weren't trying to compete with them. They're just like, okay, let's just make him really look cool, make him menacing. Like Artifacts, like they really made him like a menacing because like that's the last Batman villain he faces. He's like this super big threat, and also Clancy Brown is just great.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit mixed back for me, where I do like it, but I don't know. I feel like with for B test, that was the first time they did the whole Nora angle, because before that there was no Nora before that show.
Yeah, I think if I were to adapt Mister Freeze, I'd probably have him meet Nora. Not before he like not after he becomes Mister Freeze, but like maybe he becomes Mister Freeze or something, and then like he meets Nora in Arkham or something. That's probably how I would do it.
Perhaps, but I don't know. I will admit, I feel like with what happened with Freeze's story in the DCU, is it was a bit hectic, just because of how, like, with the first episode, it was believed that Nora was dead. So I feel like that should be just enough, where he's doing all this just to get revenge for losing his wife and him being stuck in that suit. But I did like the episode Deep Freeze, where it turns out she did survive, just still frozen in that glass tank, and it provides something for how he could be used by other bad guys, and how he can be somewhat of a reluctant ally, which is something that I liked in Arkham City for.
I'm pretty sure she's dead in that episode. I just watched. I don't even watch Sam Lake's video of that episode, but he said like I guess like in the tank scene, where like she's dead, but they couldn't say she's dead because of TV censorship. So
True, but what about, like, in Sonic 3? We see Shadow in a similar tank, but he has no breathing apparatus or anything. Yet when he awakes, he's awoken everything. So that's why I feel like, so I don't know. I feel like maybe she's not really dead exactly. It's like a very.
like most likely she's dead or something. Like 80% chance she's dead, 20% she may be alive. I don't know.
But I think that's what I like about Frieza's character, where they went a little bit deeper into it with, is that he has he has a bit of an obsession where he wants to try to save people, and that was definitely showcased in the Arkham games, where he doesn't want to accept death.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like the Joel Schumacher interpretation of Mister Freeze because like he just wants to save his wife.
Oh yeah, but that was just still silly.
Yeah, whole party. Trying to be like a or like I'm trying to do his impression.
Though I feel like under a different direction, Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been a really good Mr. Freeze if you take out the puns and just keep the more like dark, serious take.
He's got
Uh,
his neon suit, just like.
let's see. Let me see what Angel has been saying. Which is funny because it never touched Killer Croc's origin in B-Test and left out all of his sympathetic qualities. They even address his real name as they never. Yeah, that's true. I think in the Vendetta episode it was some other different name, but I want to say eventually by TMBA they may have changed it to Waylon Jones. Hard to say. I have to rewatch or so.
Yeah.
The best versions of Freeze for me. Let's see, I love Clancy Brown's performance, Mr. Freeze. It's definitely not as compelling as DCU Freeze, but it's simply the best version of the original Thief version, Mr. Freeze. Yeah, because Clancy does have a great menace to it, and even though he does like the ice puns on that show, it's more effective at how serious he is, especially with in the future version. Let's see, the two best versions of Freeze for me is the DCU and the Arkham one. I may have liked his ending in Arkham Knight, where he gets to spend his final days with Nora, than the one in Beyond. Yeah,
I don't know.
because I mean, it's not. It's. I mean, I did like that ending with Arkham Knight for Freeze, where he does get to spend Nora's last days, and he's probably willing just to be out of the suit, so maybe that way they would die together.
I kind of like Beyond because Mr. Freeze is just such a low point in his life, and he's just like, I'm back to my old habit. I want to end myself, and just like it's really sad because like, of course you have Terry just like no like I can help you, and no, and he's like I don't know, it's just like a really sad ending.
Yeah, yeah, that is probably equally sad. And the original intent the original intent by Bruce Timm was to have Nora be dead by the time of Sub-Zero, which he was involved with that. But they retcon it. That's why with Cold Comfort, I kind of like but don't hate it, just because it's with TMBA just originally. I feel like they're just bringing the villains back to their roots, but not having much complexity, because I feel like for Freeze, it makes sense with losing Nora that his crimes would be of vengeance. I feel like that's what it should be from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, like at least with Nora, he's more of a sympathetic villain. That's why he can be somewhat of a reluctant ally for Batman sometimes.
Yeah. If you ask me, I do like sad endings because it's like sort of like in the real world because there's not always a happy ending. I don't hate happy endings, but there should be like a sort of a sad ending, like like Mr. Freeze didn't really.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I feel like maybe for Frieza's story, it could have just ended with Heart of Ice, where Nora was like, dead, was like actually dead. Frieza
Yeah,
was trying to get vengeance. He failed, and just where it ends with him just seeing that little glass figurine in Arkham. I feel like that could have been that. That could have been that for Freeze, and it seemed that way up until Deep Freeze. But I did like the end of Sub-Zero though, because it was somewhat of a somber, happy ending where she's alive, but Freeze is willing just to be in isolation.
yeah.
And I feel like they should have just left it at that. But then we would never get the ending in Batman Beyond. So it's a give and take.
No, they actually only call him Waylon Jones in one parallel panel in the tie comic.
Ah, okay.
I haven't read much of the B-Test tie comic. I've only read the Batman Strikes tie comic and some B-Test comic books, like the Two-Face one.
Yeah.
Although Noah being dead originally in Bruce Timm's head is the reason why they avoid using him in B-Test until Deep Freeze, which is the second to last episode.
Yep, that's true. Yep, that's true. Yep. Yeah, yeah, that's why I feel like it's just a give and take. Just because I guess in Arkham City, I really like the fact that while you do have to fight Freeze, he does help you out a bit with creating the cure and giving you a freeze gadget, which is very helpful in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, that's thanks to Paul Dini. Paul Dini is the one who came up with Freeze's origin.
Thank you, Paul Dini.
I really wish he did got involved with Arkham Knight and maybe Arkham Origins. I mean, granted, Arkham Origins story wise, I think it was fine. Just the only complaint about with Arkham Origins is the whole build of a Black Mask, but then it turns out it's just Joker. I just feel like Black Mask is just a very
It's
minor.
just yeah, it's just he's there. That's it. I don't know. Uh, I think the 2004 show had a better Black Mask. I don't know.
Yeah,
Got
he was it was okay. I mean, I guess like nothing too standoffish, but I guess I did like the fact that for with that Black Mask, it was up to Batgirl and Robin just to make sure he would stay in the prison. I would really love if they brought in the comics Equinox, who was an original villain for Brave and the Bold, but as a villain for either Zatanna or Doctor Fate. True, although he is partially based off an established villain called Libra, I think.
mhm.
But I do like Equinox's design, so
Yeah, my friend's actually watching Brave and the Bold right now. Like, he's going through all the Batman cartoons, and he's like, he really liked the Equinox episode.
yeah. Because funny enough, he was voiced by the I forgot the guy's name, but he voiced Doctor Fate in Justice League Unlimited.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yep, that's thanks to Andrea Romano. She always casts like very similar actors for different projects.
Did she work on Brave and the Bold? I can't remember if she worked on Brave and the Bold or not.
Yep, she was the casting and voice director.
No wonder it's so good.
Yep, and she took over for casting with for the Batman since season
I,
4, I believe.
yeah, I know she did that. I know she like took over '04 and then '05. I didn't think she did Brave and the Bold. I don't know. It's just, Brave and the Bold. I watched Brave and the Bold. Like I watched it, but I don't think I really know too much about stuff. I'm just learning new stuff from Brave and the Bold today.
Yeah, Brandon Bold has some pretty good has some good episodes. I mean, that one is definitely more kid friendly at times, but it does have some cool moments, and it gives you a good history of DC lore for with the Silver Age comics.
It's the Brave and Bold is just basically like like it's like a drug. Basically, you're just learning more new drugs and all that stuff because Batman's like I don't know, just
Like you see Batman in the jungle wearing Tarzan against Cat versus Catwoman, and then like there's fight against someone like with rainbow powers, or I think there's one episode like with Robin where he has like a very adult version of the costume.
yeah, like the color outfit and all that stuff. Like it's just it's not originally from the comic. Like they don't. It's not a. How do I say this? They didn't take the plot from the comic, just like the imagery, because like it's used for Firefly and all that stuff with the rainbow costume.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for each Batman show after BTAS, they just took in like some things like where because like I would say overall with BTAS, you get a good balance of everything with the action, the detective mystery angle, and more comic book influence. For the Batman, definitely more action influence. Brave and the Bold, very more comic influence with the Silver Age and everything, and even with Beware the Batman with a more detective Sherlock Holmes angle.
It's probably the Burrow Batman is probably the most detective-y Batman has ever been. I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like games is like one of my favorite episodes. It's like he has no utility belt. Humpty Dumpty's got Batman trapped in like these puzzle room and all that stuff, and he's like trying to figure out like what's going on, who's the mystery, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that episode. Let's see. What do you think of the Cold Heart DLC, which was an adaptation of Heart of Ice? I like that one. I like that it was bringing like Penguin involved to provide Freeze with goons and stuff to get Ferris Boyle. And I agree with Angel. I did like how they incorporated the element of Freeze knowing Nora was alive, and instead of waiting to kill Ferris, he wanted to get Nora out of GothCorp. So
Yeah, and then you got like the XE suit. There's a recreation of BTS's intro with like the two guys robbing a bank and like it explodes and all that stuff.
yep. Yeah, just yeah, I just hate to say it, like, as great at as gr- as great as the 2004 series is, I mean, to be fair, we wouldn't have that series if not for BTAS, just because like
Oh
it's
yeah, obviously.
yeah, it's just yeah, it's just because like it's the series is very influential for everyone because like they found a way how to create a more dark, serious Batman that could be enjoyable for kids. It may have some bumps in the road with the production and everything early on with its episodes, but I want to say at least after, if you look at the production episodes wise, I want to say after two, I want to say like after with the by the time I get to Two Face
It
and
was yeah, it was a slow like burning process. The beginning wasn't good, but they found their footing. As they were continuing and working on the show and all that stuff. That's why for Cape Crusader, I'm just like it's the same thing. It's just like not everyone. Not a lot of people like Cape Crusader, but I'm just like, no, I have faith that they're gonna put out a great quality. It's just like BTS, it may not have been,
yeah,
because they had protection issues, with like selling the show off and then getting the ideas and figure out the tone, the style, and all that stuff. I do think for season 2 for Cape Crusader, it's going to be like BTS, where it's like they found their voice, they found the identity. It took a while, but it's good.
yeah, because I like the build up for heart, like for some of the characters. I actually liked it. Like my favorite character in that show was Clay with the Clayface because I did like mixing in like with the elements of the original version, adding in with the whole Clayface injection thing where but it only just affects his face. I want to say not necessarily his whole body.
Hmm.
It gave a very horror aesthetic. I did enjoy Catwoman because it's she was had a very fun personality with trying to steal and everything.
I like the Noctura episode, like episode 8, where it's like, it's like the little kid accidentally kills her brother, and Batman's more sympathetic. He's trying to like, you know,
Yep, and bring in like all, not just the Robins, but say every other Batman sidekick that he would have gotten.
of course, Bruce Timm's like visual style. I always love that. I love seeing Bruce Timm's art.
Yep, and yeah, for Harley Quinn, that's another mixed bag for me.
I don't know. I'm really mixed of Harley Quinn. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think they didn't really quite nail it.
I mean, I guess like if you wanted to make Harley Quinn more of like a intimidating, like more try to make a scary kind of villain, then I guess that's one way to go about it. I guess. I mean, because I guess I do like the angle where she's a psychiatrist by day, but then if she's dealing with patients, if she has some clients who are like unrepentant, who don't really want to change their ways, who are corrupt, then yeah, just to see her take matters into her own hands,
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. It was kind of a bit scary, a bit that she was turning all these rich people into her puppets.
Yeah. I found Kikusuya kind of forgettable. Originally, I didn't want to see Joker, but without him, I thought the show was missing excitement. And so he's really the only reason I'll be checking out for season 2.
Yeah, it will be interesting because the way they did the voice at the end, I'm just like, oh god, that sounds
Mm-hmm.
very scary.
And I have a strange relationship with Cape Crusader because my first video was just talking about Cape Crusader. First video I ever uploaded. I talked about Cape Crusader, and then like I kept making videos like updates about it because like it was like, where is this show? And then I had this strange comment, and like I guess he was a leaker or something, and he told me like, "Oh, this is what's happening." And like I look back and I'm watching the show, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy was right. Why did he comment on my video?" Like he was right about female penguin, he was right about the final episode, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, that was a very interesting take. I didn't hate that. I thought it was like okay, because I guess the other thing I would say is that after many years of Batman series and movies, like you gotta do something different with some of these
Mm-hmm.
characters, and I feel like her being like a basically a la- I can't think the type of singer, but I guess being a club owner and stuff, it's
I I found it so dumb. Everyone's hating on Penguins, like, oh, why change this adaptation? I was like, really? We're complaining about Penguin here? Penguin? Are you kidding me? Why are we talking about this? This is stupid.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I guess I have a comment on, because I feel like with if a character's written to be this way originally, then that's how it should be. Because I mean, take a look at, like, for Batman, like,
They
'cause
didn't
I feel
really change much with Penguin's character, I don't think.
no, they didn't. I just feel like, if he's, I guess I feel like, if he's supposed to be if he's written out to be a guy, then that's what you do. Because if you really change Penguin from being instead of being to be a woman, then why not for Batman too? Just like, then there's no point for having a Batgirl or a Batwoman if you just say, hey, let's make a story where instead of Bruce Wayne, like, I
Yeah.
can't think of what would be a female name of version of Bruce, but yeah, but you get the point.
Yeah. The reason I liked it was because like she killed one of her children, and like a mother doesn't really kill one of their kids, and now it's something like maybe a father, but it makes it more disturbing that a mother did it. That's why I like it at least.
Oh yeah, because that scene was terrifying. And though, funny enough, I would say, like, the son that survives, he does kind of look like a traditional penguin somewhat, with his appearance and everything, and how much of a slob he is.
Yeah, it's just like he's trying to be fancy, but he's really a slob.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, if something should happen to the mother, then maybe the son could take over and be like the new penguin.
I think they try to do that in the comics, where like Penguin faked his death and all that stuff, and like his kids try to take over.
Maybe we'll see. It sounds like they got John DiMaggio back as Joker from Under the Red Hood. Maybe hard to say, because I looked at the credits of that last episode. They didn't have anything for Joker, so who knows?
Yeah, they really kept that. If there's one thing they're really good at keeping secrets, it's like the voice actor, because like remember, like, I don't know if you saw, if you were before Kikusuri came out, like there was so many leaks popping out, like freaking like all the design characters were leaked, all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw those designs. I was like, initially, like, I wasn't sure what to make of, especially for Two Face's design. But once I saw the episodes, I did liked it, and I even made a video comparing the the Two Faces, because I guess it's like, I find it interesting that his scarred side is not the bad personality; it's the other way around, and I guess I kind of like that for with Harvey's scarred side. It didn't look so monstrous, just more like Hunchback of Notre Dame, kind of sad monster thing.
Yeah, I thought Two Face was pretty good, or just passable, I guess. I don't know. I like that. I like Jaja Bader as Two Face's voice.
Oh yeah, like that was just perfect. See, and I will say one aspect that never felt BTAS showcased well was having Batman be an expert martial artist. Every hit and dodge felt the same in the choreography.
There were some funny moments of like BTS's fight choreography. Like there's one, like it goes back to the Two Face episode where like a thug tries to punch Batman, but like he's not, like his arm doesn't connect with his body, so he's just like punching in the air, and Batman's just standing there, and he just like kicks him.
Yeah, plus I do like when he hits one of them, like with a dish tray or something. I think in one of those episodes, and then even like with that bitch slapped with Kyodai Ken.
Yeah. And then of course Master Phantasm. I guess they were able to get away with some more violence. So you have Batman punching a thug's face, and then like he just launches them across the table, a lot of stuff. I
Yeah,
thought
then
that was really cool. Like, man,
yeah,
that punch was powerful. He knocked him across the other side of the table.
yeah, I know. That was just nuts. Yeah, because I feel like I think once they got to like Phantasm, that's, I feel like around that time leading up to Phantasm, they figured out how to really make the show really something.
That's something like the 2004 show I think handled well, was the fight choreography. You have Batman just like jumping like a little bunny, I guess. Like he's jumping 10 feet in the air, and he's doing acrobatics and all that stuff.
Yeah, they never got that. Yeah, it's just funny how this is mostly with Batman Forever, but we got to talk about all different kinds of Batman.
Yeah, we're just talking about Vitesse. I think midway through I was like, wait, this all started because of Forever. We're getting so off topic.
Yeah, but yeah, what's funny is that I have seen someone made a fan video using like the secondary opening for the Batman, but with clips from Batman Forever and Batman and Robin,
Mhm.
and I
I,
found
I,
that
yeah.
I just found that rather fitting.
I'm seeing this weird trend where people are liking Batman Forever more, or and a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's kind of surprising. And then like, of course, you have the hashtags release the Jewel Schumachger cut or something like that.
Yeah, because it would be interesting seeing what was the original like version of film. Let's see. What's your favorite character that originated in the show but was incorporated in the comics? For me, it's by far Kinney in X Men Evolution. Yes, way more than Harley Quinn.
Hmm. Beyond. I
Yeah,
win.
that's a tough one. I want to say to me it is between Harley and yeah, between Harley and Beyond because I do like Terry McGinnis because yeah.
I'm going with Terry. Terry all the way.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of other original characters
Original character.
from a show. Let's see, yeah, because yeah, it would have to be Terry. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else that really just. I would say maybe Roxy Rocket, somewhat. It's somewhere on the list because I did like her episode and her
I,
personality. It's like
I think she appeared in a comic before in the show.
true, but it was a tie-in comic of the series. But
Oh, Mercy Graves. I think she was the original character for Lex, wasn't she? I totally
yep,
forgot about
yep, yep. Mercy started out in the '90s Superman, and after that she was added to the character. Oh, I do like Livewire because Livewire was an original character too.
that. That is also true. I need to start thinking female characters now because Bruce Tim really liked doing female characters.
Yeah, cause there's also Volcana. Like,
Volcano. Um,
yeah, I think in a couple of years I am going to do another DC December where I'm going to be going down like with the top 12 best original characters. So yeah, see how many there are within DC at least.
number one, Terry. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's going to be tough competition because I mean, Harley is a bigger name, so we'll see.
Definitely
but
is.
that's based on how many people are going to vote for who.
Mm. I wish
But
I did. Yeah, I wish I did the voting for the Batman costume because I was really drawn back by the community's decision.
yeah, yeah, it was surprising because I feel like a lot of people were commenting about how they like the Batman Begins suit more than the Dark Knight. Though
Oh,
I do like the fact that Batman Beyond was number two, but technically the best animated suit of all time.
yeah, and then of course, and then I don't know why Justice League Action was so low on the list because like it can be a good suit. Like you have this you had one artist who drew that costume really well. I think
Mm,
I showed you that on this video.
yeah,
But
but it was a community thing, and just but now they have a bigger I think I have a bigger community thanks to you and Serum Lake. I think now I'll have like more voting involved with this because I don't want like my list just to be about like my opinions and stuff because I feel like
yeah,
that just be boring.
that is kind of boring. Yeah,
Yeah, because initially when I started the list, it was with the villains where it was mostly I think between me and the guys from Watchtower Database where we would vote on collectively what we think will be the best Batman, Superman, Justice League, and Beyond villains.
mm,
Yeah, because like in your opinion, I guess what's the best Beyond villain? Eh,
beyond villain.
yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of like the top of my head. I like Shriek. Shriek is good, just because like I guess like the concept of like sound and all that stuff. Of course, the Tower of Babel or Babel is my favorite episode of Beyond, or one of them.
Yep, Shriek was on the list of the top 10 villains. Yep, he was
Yeah,
up there.
Ink is pretty good.
Yep, Ink
Yeah,
actually made number one between me, James, and Ted.
I don't. Yeah, no, Ink. I don't know. I think Ink is more. I think iconic. She just appeared in a comic book recently, actually.
Yeah, I think she has
Yeah.
in a few Batman tie comics. Yeah, because because I want to say in the list we had, Ink was number one, Blight was number two.
Mm. I think. Yeah. I think either Ink or Blight. I think they're the most maybe iconic villains beyond. Personally, I think I like Shriek more, but I think Ink and Blight, just because Blight is based on Doctor Phosphorus,
Yeah,
basically, and then of course Ink is just I don't know, just more appealing, I guess. Like her design is more appealing.
yeah, and I think for the other villains that we had on the list, the Jokers were on there, Royal Flush Gang, Cobra. Let's see who else, Spellbinder.
Oh, I forgot about Spellbinder. Then the Stalker,
I don't think Sucker made the final cut between us. Let's
maybe
see. I have to look back. Let's see. Earth Mover was at there.
Earth Mover. Oh,
Uh,
that's,
yeah, that was like the creep. That was like the guy that was like was mixing with the earth or those like chemicals and stuff.
have you seen Darwin's Cook on that imagery at all? Because I sometimes forget like Darwin Cook was like a he worked on that show.
I seen some like I think I seen some of those images on the World's Finest website because I think I saw some of them.
Yeah, I think he came up with the Batmobile like inside because they used that design for that Legends of the Dark Knight episode where like he's in the tank and it's just red and
Hmm.
stuff. So they use that for like they just reused that for Beyond in the Batmobile. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Stalker to me as a kid, first time watching Bam Beyond, felt like a Craven ripoff even as a kid.
I didn't
Yeah,
really got that if I'm being honest.
yeah. I mean it. I mean, granted, yeah, a lot of the villains in Bam Beyond they do have some influence from the Spider-Man villains, and even like Watchtower Database has pointed that out, like and other YouTubers. But at least there's some twists, like how for Ink
Yeah,
she's a science experiment and she doesn't have like the teeth, and for like Shriek, yeah, he does sounds like Shocker. He does
yeah,
like shockwaves like Shocker, but his was more sound based.
yeah. I don't really thought Shriek as like a Shocker ripoff. And I'm being honest, there's like maybe a couple of villains um, like the Terrific Trio is just a rip or sort of a ripoff of the Fantastic Four in a certain way.
Yeah, and I would say like for Stalker, yeah, he's a hunter like Craven, but Craven, I think he had like some kind of serum or something. Whereas for Stalker, like he has like a spinal implant that makes him stronger.
Yeah,
So there's some influence, but not exact ripoffs.
yeah.
That's what I think I'll
I,
say.
Yeah, there. I think there's a big difference. There's rip-offs and then there's inspirations. Those are two different things.
Yeah,
You know.
because that's basically all there is like between with Marvel and DC.
Hmm. I don't think it's a bad. I don't know. I don't think it's bad that they took inspiration from Spider-Man villains. There's a lot of imagery that Batman Beyond shares. Like, that scene where like the Terrific Trio, like there's a building on top of Terra, and he's like lifting that big pillow.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's just like a direct like recreation of like Spider-Man and all that stuff.
Oh yes, yep. That's basically pulled it right from it. Yeah, they because for Bruce Timm's team, yeah, they know what they're doing. But
Mhm. I'm surprised they don't. They Bruce Tim hasn't made like a Marvel cartoon or all that stuff because when they were making Justice League, like they basically just took a lot of stuff from Marvel and all that stuff.
yeah, that's true. And I even seen some of Bruce's artwork of several Marvel characters, where you look at like the X-Men, Fantastic Four. Let's see. Have you ever done a ranking video of all the Robins? No, I haven't. I just felt like there what because I guess usually with what I do at the end of December, it's usually at least up to like 10, at least up to 10 or so. And then I would say there's definitely not 10 Robins for one thing. Thank goodness.
We need more children. I mean, there's like other versions of Robin, like Duke Lake or Luke or something from the White Knight series. He became Robin for that
Hmm.
comic book series.
Yeah.
And then you have Kelly Jones and all that stuff.
Yeah, because for this year, I am planning to do about with the movies. Just I'm gonna have like different segments, just like last year. Like for first half of the month, it'll be with the top 12 DC EU movies or the Snyderverse movies. So basically, all the movies from Man of Steel to Aquaman 2 that are connected. Just see like what's the best out of those, and then
That's fun.
for the next 12 will just be anything independent, which will cover, whether it be like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, like all the smaller franchises like the Dark Knight trilogy, the Burn and or Schumacher films, Christopher Reeve movies, as well as the newest Superman movie coming out. So
That
that'll be
shit. Yeah.
that'll be a test to see, can this new Superman movie rival the classics? Well, that's gonna be for you viewers to decide.
I just did like a snap.
Yeah, because I figure like with the new Superman movie, what better way to like just compare it? What better way than just compare it to previous films and see if this will make it to the top 12 of that list, since it's pretty much the only new movie out there of that new universe.
I'm really excited to watch Superman. I just saw the preview. And I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool.
Yeah, and I do I find it very funny with that because it's James Gunn's writing style, and I feel like it's
Yeah, as soon as I saw that crypto scene, I was like, yeah, that's so much like James Gunn's style of humor right there.
yep, and yeah. Though I've seen think there's maybe one or two reviewers who are a bit critical about with the dog thing, but I feel like it's Hollywood and it's a movie. You're expecting realism of a movie with a guy that has the powers of a god.
Yeah, yeah. From the sun, by the way. I get my superpowers from heat fusion and flight just from the sun. On the
Yeah,
solar panel.
and I mean, like the dog looks like a puppy. Like he looks like he's like maybe 4 or 5 years old. So I mean, at that point, all the dog wants to do is play.
I think I'm really biased because I own dogs in in my real life, so I'm just like as soon as I see crypto, I'm like I'm a dog lover, so I'm just like oh my gosh, it's so cute, I'm gonna pet him, I'm gonna pet the dog. I'll play with you, crypto. Don't worry.
Does the Joker movie count since technically it should be called Guy Who Calls Himself Joker and gets killed by the real Joker? Well, I mean, it is a DC movie. I think I will count it because I did like the first movie. I was very about the second one. But I will say that, that for Arthur Fleck, he did create, bring about, the identity, basically help bring about the idea just to bring about, I guess, basically for someone to become the real Joker, basically. I'm so excited that both the forefathers of DC and Marvel are getting a movie in the same month. Yeah.
Before, yeah.
Yeah, because the Fantastic Four movie, that should be pretty interesting, especially when we see them all together with the Avengers and X-Men next year.
Mm-hmm. And then Spider-Man 4 coming out what is it, like 2026?
Yep, that'll come out next year too. So
Brand new day. Tom Holland's gonna be so busy.
oh yeah, especially if we're also getting, I think we're getting Black Cat in this movie, and I was hoping that was going to happen because let's see other love interests besides Mary Jane or Gwen.
Let's do it, Black Cat. Yeah. Ooh, can't wait to see her. There's like a joke going on in my community. It's like they know I like Black Cat. They're like, of course you would.
Hey, I mean, she's a cool character. I like her. She has a cool design. I like their personality. She's not a complete Catwoman rip off.
Mm-hmm. No saving animals. This version.
Nope. Who do you think Sadie Sink is playing? I want it to be Mary Jane, but it's probably going to be Carly Cooper. You never know. I mean, it could be Mary Jane, since for the in the previous movies, her character was she technically had the nickname MJ, but it was just Melissa Jones. So
Yeah, I really thought she was MJ, and I was like, oh, this isn't MJ. It's just okay.
no, it's just basically the equivalent to like with that whole Dark Knight Rises with the guy being named Robin something Barnes or Robin something, I forgot.
Yeah,
Robin Blake.
like really, come on, Nolan, my boy, my man.
I would have gone with like I think what would have been better would be like Todd Grayson or something.
Ooh, yeah,
Just because I feel like for that character, he was a mixture of Tim, Dick, and Jason rolled in one.
yeah. The brains of Tim. He's got the
He's got a little bit the more hopeful personality of Dick Grayson, not to mention that Dick was a cop while being Nightwing,
Oh
and
yeah,
and Jason's upbringing with being an orphan on the streets and in an orphanage.
yeah. I see that. I definitely see that.
Yeah, yeah, I think like Todd Grayson or something. That way, it's like or Drake or I don't know, Drake Todd or nah. I
Todd
think
Grayson.
yeah,
Yeah.
Todd Grayson sounds right. But I think that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you, Blue Knight, for being a part of this live stream, and I want to thank you, viewers, especially Angel of Death, for with the questionnaire, and all you other viewers for watching.
Yeah, no. I'm happy I was able to join. I love talking about Batman Forever. I wasn't gonna. I didn't really see myself making a Forever video, so this was perfect. We really got off topic. I think maybe 40 minutes. We stopped talking about Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Val. I want to say to thank you, Val Kilmer, for providing with a very enjoyable comedic film, something to showcase with the kids and everything. And while Batman Forever may not be high up on the radar for most people like, when it comes to Batman films, but it is something.
It's definitely maybe the most comic booky or fantastical Batman movie we've gotten in a really long time.
Yeah. May you rest in peace, Val, and you will be remembered by Batman fans alike. Let's see. And yep, since comic book anime shows seem to be making a comeback, what would you have to say has been your favorite so far? For me, it's My Adventures Superman, X-97, and Hit Monkey.
That's a good question.
I do like My Adventures Superman and 97. Yeah, those are my among my favorites because I didn't watch much of the original 90s X-Men, but I do like what they've done with the 97. That's one of the few Marvel shows I've seen that I've actually enjoyed.
Hopefully, we make a Spider-Man '98 show or whatever they do.
Well, given with the current
Yeah.
show they have now, not likely, but hopefully maybe we get a little something for season 2 or 3 of X-Men 97.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would say for the nice fan, I'm not sure where else they could have gone with. I mean, I think for me, with how that show ended, I think all they could do is just allow something where, like, hey, Mary Jane, let's we just need to talk that, yeah, I kind of married your clone, although I didn't know it was a clone and stuff. So we're married. I know how you want to go about this. I mean,
That is, very curious to see that. Oh yeah, because like we do see Peter and Mary Jane together in '97. That's if like he's either before or after all that stuff.
true, because I think the original series for Spider-Man, that ended, I think, around 97 or 98. Yep, 98, I think. Yeah. Season 2 will feature the Grant Morrison suits, apparently.
Mm.
And we'll see, because season 2 for X-Men 97, that's going to be quite something to see, like, characters in both the past and future, not to mention probably with whoever's left in the present, trying to, I guess, bring about a new team. But we shall see what happens. Take care, everyone, and stay tuned for the next video.